I wouldn't mind playing some Warzone with you guys, but
Let's do it.
Are we Warzoning after
yeah,
this?
I'm beginning. Yeah, if we go through it quick, I got a hankering to play it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Let's do it now.
I'm good with Warzone. Brent,
Brent's like, "Fuck this
what are we
shit."
gonna do?
I'm the devil's advocate.
Brent's always throwing a wrench in it.
Do it now.
He knows we'll cave. That's the problem. But like, are we doing this now? What did I come back to? I just said I'm turning my ear down. What's happening?
I mean, unless you want to forego games played, just do news and then jump on and do Warzone.
Nudes.
I don't know. Even Murmy screaming Warzone. Like we got to jump straight into that. Warzone, please. It's not good. We need an episode. I cannot do tomorrow morning. That's where it comes down to. We are tied up tomorrow morning.
Do it.
And we're going back to Sunday night again.
Oh no! And then we record Tuesday, and we haven't done shit since Tuesday. Nudes first. Why are we doing nudes? Always nudes first. Seem to always lead with nudes first. I mean, can we bust through nudes pretty quick? I'm saying nudes now. I'm just straight up saying nudes.
I think if we bust through news,
we just
we could bust through nudes as well.
Bust it out.
Could probably go straight to games played and just talk about what we played this week, Tuesday, because it's kind of close.
Okay. Then we could catch up on the new release later.
Yeah, and bust the move.
I can mention that we got an hour of gameplay on Twitch.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, did your Astrobot come in?
It just, I saw you said something about streaming. I went and actually checked the progress, and it hadn't even shipped yet. I was like, what the hell? I was like, Amazon.
Oh. Amazon has been overselling pre-orders than they can send.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have encountered that too.
Oh, but I mean,
So
I pre-ordered it like first thing, but I guess it doesn't fucking matter. So
it's depending on where your warehouse location is. But I got my copy today, but somebody had stepped all over my case, so my case is completely destroyed.
No,
so I had to order a replacement one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I went ahead and just played it because it's like the slipcover, the wrapping was already off of it inside the bag. It was like because they stepped.
So you can return it. You can return it all jacked up like that and say, "Hey, I got a replacement." Already.
Yeah, because I did exchange. I said, "Hey, it was already shipped to me." The shipping, their cheap ass shipping packets they use was fine. Everything inside of it was destroyed. So I'm like,
"Who is this?"
And it was like, "All right, we'll ship you another one on Sunday." I was like, "And then just ship your old one back." I was like, "All right, cool."
Is this Amazon?
Yeah,
mine came from Best Buy. Brand, are you close to a Costco at all?
No.
The game's like 52 at Costco if you can get to one.
Technically, it is. I am. I could go to the one. Could probably be there, and I don't know. I guess that would take about 30-ish minutes.
If you're wanting to go, I can arrange for a Costco card for you to get it for 52-ish.
Well, that's the thing is I was thinking about going and possibly getting it tomorrow, and then that literally within about 5 minutes, I got another notification saying it had actually shipped. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, they knew it. They felt it in the universe. They were like, no, his ass about to go out there.
I've done the rebuy return before.
You could do that, yeah. You could. I'll ship it right back to Amazon.
I'm about to say I could cancel it mid-shipment. I don't care.
Yep.
Oh no, I abused GameStop like that for years before they got better at like 2-day shipping and stuff. I mean, Target is still a crapshoot, but I think I'm finally done with this head cold. I just don't sound great, so that's hopefully it's the end of it though. Are we live on everything? Yeah, streaming.
Yeah,
streaming.
Just do the news real quick and
what's that?
Jump on if we do the news real quick, we jump on the war zones if we hurry.
Do our non co-op update. Oh yeah, because it is already 8:45.
Yeah.
Who's that at the Braves game? Episode 317. Is that us, Brant? Is that number right?
I don't even know anymore.
I'm with you. I'm just going with it.
I mean, I know exactly, but I'm just fucking with you, so
I'll accept that too.
Let's not this down 20 minutes. Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 317 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and shipping warehouse Distribution Coordination Podcast.
Logistics.
That would have summed it up, but I made it sound way fancier. Brant, where do you like getting your stuff from? Where would you like for it to come from? Anywhere in the country. Your pick.
Yeah, just anywhere.
You just wanted to make it to you.
I just wanted to get to me on time. A lot of time it does tend to come from Kentucky, which is
I do get Kentucky stuff too. We all noted resentment of the Ellenwood FedEx location. So,
oh gosh,
the bane of my existence.
Yeah,
I
but
did
you
just
got
get
your
something
top
from
spin.
them. Yeah, it was top spin, wasn't it?
You wish they would have took that one away from you though.
I don't know. We wait for a sale.
Listen, who wants this crap?
It hits $40. We finally get it, and then now it's like 25 on Woot. It's like dropped immediately. Hey, it's a good tennis game. We'll talk about it later. It comes with some caveats, some major issues, and there's some gameplay on Twitch. I wish we could coordinate restream with these console streams, because I did that Astrobot stream today, and it was so easy just tapping that on the PS5 and letting it go live. It's so easy. I wish Restream was in there. We could capture both, because it went on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but our Twitch stuff goes away after a certain point, but our YouTube's content is just building.
Yeah,
I would prefer it go there, but I mean, more people are watching us on Twitch, and that's more of a metric. That was a long ramble. Tonight's news. Bad news once again. Sony pulling the plug on Concord. Those are two separate stories. It was bad news once again. And then, as Trebek reads the categories, Sony pulling the plug on Concord. All the news in that category will have to do with live service games that Sony is canceling.
France grape juice.
Concord.
They're killing
Concord grape juice. Or the Battle of Concord. After that, we have 30th anniversary celebration? ? The next category is Capcom and Microsoft. All the answers in this category will include companies owned by or games produced by either Capcom or Microsoft. And finally, it's not Potent Potables. We have your September Game Pass games. I'm one of your hosts, not Alex Trebek. Richard Bergman, joined tonight, of course, by Newsmaster Brant McKee. Well, he has nothing. What is that?
I was gonna try to do a Sean Connery.
You stall.
Just how your mother likes it, Trebek.
Your mother likes these Game Pass games. Your mother plays offline tennis with me.
Me and your mother played doubles last night, Trebek.
God, I miss those bits, man.
We're gonna get Burt Reynolds in there. Like, that's not my name.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
A funny name.
All these people are gone. R.I.P. to all these people. And last but not least, that other voice you heard was not Turd Ferguson. It was, in fact, our resident page master and lore master, Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello.
Cesar, that hello sounded better than it has sounded in months. How are you coming to us now? I see a green cord.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of the digital USB cable and went straight analog. So I got an analog cable plugged into the headset and an analog cable plugged into the line in.
I feel like we can tell the difference. What is your
analog for life, I guess?
What's that?
Analog for life, I guess.
Yes, of course. Let the computer do the digital part. You want to plug that one? I mean, it sounds good, and we were both kind of interested in which one that was. You said it was a Razer or something?
I mean, it's a Razer. I guess. Let me pull up the Amazon. Happened to be on sale for like $59 or something like that. I just randomly, my normal Saturday afternoons was like, so let me look at stuff that I don't need.
Fever dream headset shopping.
And I was like, let me look at headsets, because I was not happy with the one I had recently, and you guys have complained about the feedback on there numerous times, which may or may not be me. So this one's a Razer Black Shark V2X gaming headset. Holy shit. 7.1 surround sound, 50mm drivers. I paid $36.87.
I'm impressed. You sound phenomenal. I'm assuming PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 5, everything's universal now, essentially.
Yeah, for PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, anything with a 3.5mm audio jack. And so normally it is list price for $60. So I paid $39.99. It's still on sale for $39.99.
Technically, that is a PSP headset. Technically, that is a Wii U headset. Has an original
Those are all things.
Game Boy headset. Is that the longest surviving interface? 3.5 millimeter jack? It's up there with like RCA AV connection, right?
I mean, what did I see recently? They just put one in there. So it was like, what is the Brant's favorite PlayStation Portal? PlayStation Portal has also a 3.5 millimeter. But we have known iPhone has given up on that since what, the 10 or 9? I can't remember. 8.
They skipped the 9. Was it the 10? They were so brave.
Maybe
remember, they made a big deal about it. We were so brave.
It was courageous. Remember?
Yeah, courageous. We were so courageous in removing the headphones.
We have the courage to get rid of the 3.5 millimeter.
And I, within the past year, bought the last iPad that still has one because I like my analog DAC coming out of there. As Cesar mentioned, analog audio here earlier. I just got some,
but I mean,
not to turn this into the headphone podcast, but I just got some in-ear monitors, IEMs, the one that like wrap around your ears and slot down in there. They sound amazing. I might bring them down here for recording purposes. But they're just...
Hey, man, I'm all about being comfortable while recording.
They're comfortable, and they're just a solid... It's just like everything I throw at it. Hip-hop, rock, pop, classical. It's just got a very solid... I say bass line, not like all about that bass, but it's a solid, like a baseball bass line. It's a solid bass line of sound across no matter what you throw at it. And I think they were on sale for $20, and I've been eyeballing those forever. We're headphone junkies, though. It's what we do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that and our losing Atlanta Falcons junkies.
Oh, God, that we are. That'll be Sunday. We should do something for the game.
Sunday. When we lose the first game, who we playing?
Steelers.
Oh,
Brant!
we're playing Steelers.
Sportsmaster Brant McKee. It was so fast.
They're gonna put Russell Wilson out there with his. Was he still having hamstring issues? Right.
Yes.
I think he still is.
But the quarterback that I wanted for the Falcons is also their backup, so the irony would not be lost on me if he comes on at the very end of the game and beats us.
I mean the Georgia native.
Yes, the Fields of the Justins, not Fields of Gold, Fields of Justins. Brant with the sports update. Brant, did you ever worked with a friend of the show? Let's go with May Jackswell.
Not Steve Jobs.
May Jackswell.
Yes, noted Steelers fan. Apparently not. Apparently you did not work with May Jackswell. He always had like a terrible towel hanging up in his office. All right, thank you for joining us for this sports talk episode. We're going to get out of here and play Warzone and hope the Falcons win on Sunday. Let's get through this news.
I'm glad to see Mermy's here. Glad to see Bleach is continuing to ignore us. So.
Mermy's winning the Mermy versus Buish battle yet again.
Somebody's got to win, right?
All right, this news says bad news once again. Let's get into that. This comes from VGC and Tom Ivan. Bad news once again. Until Dawn Remake Studio announces, quote, significant layoffs. Ballistic Moon, quote, remains focused on supporting the launch, end quote, of the PS5 and PC game. The studio behind the PS5 and PC version of Until Dawn has announced significant restructuring ahead of the game's release. In a statement, Woking UK-based Ballistic Moon... Woking? Is that a real place?
I guess so. I mean, I've never been to the UK, so...
You know they got a team. It's like Woking FC. That's throwing me off. Woking. Walking? It wouldn't be walking for UK, would it? I need to know. Woking UK-based Ballistic Moon said it was making staff cuts to, quote, secure the future of the studio, which remains focused on supporting Until Dawn's launch in October. The studio was formed in 2020 by Duncan Kershaw, Neil McEwen, and Chris Lamb, who all previously worked together at Supermassive Games, the developers behind 2015's Until Dawn for PS4. As the games industry continues to face complex challenges, we at Ballistic Moon are confronted with some difficult realities, the studio said in a statement. It is with deep regret and a heavy heart, blah, 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 saying goodbye, blah, in the transition, blah, blah, blah. Until Dawn will be released on October 4th, 2024, a feature film based on Until Dawn, which is being helmed by Lights Out, Annabelle creation, and Shazam director David F. Sandberg, started shooting last month.
Oh.
So there's a movie coming, but they laid off a group of people. That's not good. More layoffs.
But this is not a Sony studio, right? That just kind of coincide with the ending of this game being developed. Seems like.
Seems like it, and it's PS5 and PC. I don't think this is a Sony group.
Yeah.
I don't know if they overstaffed or they're getting down. Contract work is getting done at the end of this, and they just need to maintain or support or. I mean, there's no seasons for this Until Dawn game, right? There's not going to be any post-game content. That's not how this game works.
Seems to be one and done. Yeah. So
I know. Also, I think it was announced before this. Rockstar was also having some layoffs, and it was most likely due to the not so great performance of the Kill the Justice League game
that came out.
I think what was it? Most of it was Q&A, quality assurance.
Yeah,
it seemed to be the majority of the jobs being lost there.
I guess a lot of the brunt of that, I feel like, on studio cuts.
Yeah, if you ever watched that, y'all never watched that interview with Sean Layden, did y'all? He kind of brought that up.
You told us about that, and we need to see it.
He brought that up there about he sees the future of the industry either being union, everybody in the union to keep their jobs, basically type of thing, or you're going to see companies just move toward contracting work. So you staff up for a big job, you buy a contract for X amount of months, and then staff down, and then staff up again. He said the only problem with that one is you lose a lot of talent, but
that went so well for Halo Infinite. You just described Halo Infinite, didn't you? Didn't they say that was beleaguered by these contract jobs?
So yeah, he said that's pretty much the future, basically.
Because you have somebody come in for 6 months, and by the time they're comfortable with the code and whatever they want to implement and whatever changes are happening in a rapid changing industry like a live service title, then somebody else is coming in, and you're starting all the way over again.
Yeah, you also watched the interview. It's pretty interesting because he talked about, he said the problem with the industry is he said they're not bringing new people in. He's like, yeah, they spent more money during COVID, but he said most of that was because I'm at home anyways. I'll buy an extra battle pass. And he says when stuff started opening up and people have more choices again, you lost a lot of that extra revenue. He said the problem is we weren't bringing in new people. You just had people who were just spending a little bit extra money because they had no choice.
There was no growth off of that period.
Yeah.
And they didn't retain, they lost. So it was a couple of repeats.
He said that's why the staffing down is so drastic and happens so quickly. And it doesn't make sense. He says it's you have these games selling millions of dollars, but you're not selling like you used to. So that's why he said the layoffs thing is going to be probably going on for a while until they get down to pre-2019 years. So
maybe we'll start getting smaller games again. Maybe that's that pivot where we start getting these.
I mean, we need AA. I mean, you saw Sony's the only one that's not doing AA because Microsoft they took that studio that's doing Blizzard and Activision just for AA games. They're the only one. Sony's the only one that does not have a dedicated studio just to do AA.
Would you count? Count Astrobot as that since it was a smaller team, or you still consider that? I mean, we all consider that a AAA game, but is that more of the AA model of smaller team, smaller timetable? It was still 3 years though, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's a AA game at all.
Yeah,
I mean, they probably.
I'm trying to throw it out there as a smaller scale, linear style, game that people are kind of yearning for. It seems.
So I mean, Sony's the only one I'm hoping they'll get burned and get caught on that. Because I don't think everything needs to be AAA. So
new management, maybe post Jim Ryan. That's the pivot. I mean, it takes a while when you make a change to see stuff.
We're going to see, the next story was coming up. I mean, they pivoted to gas games, and now we're seeing what's happened with that. I think they learned their lesson.
Take this one, Cesar. Let's discuss.
Yeah, I mean, after this Until Dawn, we're moving on to Sony is taking Concord offline.
Yep. As of today.
It's gone.
I think they have estimated they sold as few as 25,000 copies across both PC and PS5.
That's insane.
And I mean, it's insane when you look at it. It was more cost effective to remove this game than it was to keep the servers up for the few amount of people that were playing it. I mean, that's what it boiled down to, right? So
to collect from retailers and everything.
So at this point, I mean, this is from Tom Ivan. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what we went on here. So as of Brant mentioned, as of today, this game is down. They're going to refund everybody the money they purchased for it. Everybody's getting an automatic refund.
I know you bought digitally. Do you have yours back?
I think it'll take up to a week.
Okay.
So I haven't seen it come through yet.
Did you ever play it when it went live?
Once or twice. It was very, very dead.
Damn.
So I was like, I'll come back to it maybe on the weekend when there's more people on there. But I mean, I always enjoyed the gameplay. I thought it was very good. But
I thought it was really good.
But so they came out and basically said, I think they came out on PlayStation blog. I think it was Ryan Ellis came out and said, they were happy with the people that found something with it and resonated with them because they were very passionate about it. But unfortunately, they were going to remove this game and figure out what's next. So we look at it as basically saying, like, even if they made it free on PlayStation Plus, they still don't think they were going to bring in the players, because I think the first warning sign was probably the beta, because the beta wasn't doing numbers right. It was like, I think peak was 1,000 people in the beta, which Steam
Really?
you can give. Yeah, I think Steam you can kind of give because you had to pre-order to get in the beta. But for PlayStation Plus, it was given to everybody, right? So it's like they never really hit a peak on there. So that should have been the first warning shot. But I think they probably saw the Helldivers thing. They're like, maybe the market will come around and let's see what happens, And I think I think they're going to learn their lesson from this one, because I think Sony's got a lot of, eggs in this basket with gas games right now.
Yeah.
So it's like they're probably looking at everything. It's like, all right, do we need to stop what we're doing now? So I mean, because now there's some doubts on Marathon. I think somebody had released out that they're very happy with Jade Raymond's gas game. They said it looks like that's going to continue.
Okay.
But they have some other ones that are hidden behind the scenes that we don't know about. So are they going to stop that? So, but basically, that's basically what happened. So Concord's offline. They mentioned that they're going to look at the game and see if there's something they can relaunch. So they know for a fact that nobody's going to, even if they made this on PlayStation Plus or gave it out to free, but it probably is not going to bring in the numbers they need down here to keep the servers up and running. So it's like, at this point, what do you do? Do you keep this initial gameplay? Do you change the characters? You have to look at it and see, what do you use to kind of like, or do you just make another game with this type of play style? You know what I mean? But who knows? I mean, it's a crowded market right now. So I mean, I don't think Brant put it on here, but there was another one that the Amazon and Bandai Namco, what was it, the Blue Protocol? They ended up canceling that one in Japan, and we're not even getting the US release over here because they looked at Polio versus was it Zen Zeroless or whatever, and they're getting like 50 million downloads and active users a month, and they're in Japan only. That Blue Protocol was nowhere near that. So they were like, we're just not gonna release it over here to lose money. So they just went ahead and canceled it. They canceled the US release, and they're going to end the service over there in Japan. So it's like, at this point, it's like, I don't think you can get that much further in this market unless you do something small. Unless if Sony give the people, or give Brant what he wants, which is a gas SOCOM game, we might have something.
I'm in for that. I'm all in for SOCOM.
But something small. You don't have to do this like AAA story told. Let it grow. That's the whole point of gas games, right? Is you start out small, let it grow. I think Sony went AAA on this, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go give it the Sony bells and whistles, production and all this stuff on here, and that's what we're gonna do better than everybody else.
Every week and such.
Yeah. And that's how we'll do our part on it, to be different. And you got burned immediately on that. So
I would take a Unit 13.
If it doesn't resonate,
zipper game. Yeah, it didn't resonate.
Yeah.
I was reading
Mag. I'll do Mag. Mag's perfect for that. So
Mag would be perfect.
But there was some. Gosh, trying to remember. There's some kind of interview that was out, and somebody from Sony was talking about the lack of IPs they had to pull from. It's like, y'all have SOCOM, Jack and Dexter, Sly Cooper, Killzone. You could honestly, Resistance. You could keep going. There's so much stuff that they've just kind of like pushed in the background and forgotten. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, we don't have anything. What? We don't know what to do."
I don't know if they got the right people in that job, man. I miss Sean Layden, dude. I mean, because if we had Richard in that job day one, Sony, he'd be coming out with like a dynamite heady stuff.
Dynamite heady. That spark is just gone, and part of that is they have to make money. They're beholden to shareholders and those things.
Yeah, they hit their Marvel Universe one. Like, they're only putting out like makes Marvel money, right? Like the $1 billion stuff. So I mean, that's where we're at.
I believe it's a Bloomberg article. I should have the actual quote, but it was basically saying that companies have to stop looking at it where they're trying to get a piece of the pie, right? They're trying to get Warzone money. They're trying to get Fortnite money, but there's only there's only certain ones that have carved that niche out, and it's been years now. Like there hasn't been a newcomer for that. Even Overwatch, like Overwatch was a big part of that, and it faded out. They weren't able to maintain.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a pretty heavy bit of people playing Overwatch, right? But
I mean, Overwatch.
I'm pretty sure a good number.
yeah,
Overwatch 2 took a big hit because of the way they handled
Right.
the launch, but they kind of peaked back a little bit.
but what the article is pointing out is that people look at that and they're like, if we get
It's easy
if we
money.
get 1% of that, we'll be doing gangbusters, and they're not getting there. Like Concord got nowhere close to 1% of the numbers of any of these other games as
Yeah.
a service games. Like they set those low goals. Like, man, if we could just carve out a piece of that pie, and they're not getting that bit, and it's just
I mean, I mean, let's be honest. If Helldivers didn't have the gameplay that they had on there, that part would have failed too, right? I mean, if they didn't have that addictive gameplay on there, that something was different and niche and unique about it.
It was unique
I
and
mean,
different.
it probably would have failed because we were all when we saw, it, we're like, who's gonna play this shit? You know what I mean? A lot of people were complaining on streams and everything like, this looks dumb, you know. But we didn't know what we're walking into, and it clicked. But they've lost a lot of players too now because they're not happy with the way that they kind of adjusted that game. And I saw they just did a roadmap update recently where they said, yeah, we hear your feedback. We're going to kind of work on some of your complaints and stuff like that because I think they're trying to get some of those players back. So
I want to play Helldivers again. We need to jump back into some Helldivers.
Yeah.
I know it's Russell's bread and butter, so as soon as he's back online again, I'm sure he'll be jumping on there with us. There was a thing announced at Gamescom where they showed off that it was like a interactive. I can't remember the name of that project. It was like short stories or something in particular game universes. There was God of War, Concord was one of them, which is where I'm getting to.
So it's supposed to be on Amazon Prime. Right?
Yes, it was like an anthology series of game, like Beyond the Game or Secret Levels. Is that the name of it?
Secret Levels.
Yeah,
Yep.
Secret Levels, and they said the Concord bit's going to be in there. So I mean, there's plenty of content. They built a universe. They had different playing characters. They had a good product. That's the part that sucks. They had a solid product, and I just don't know where it fits in with that free to play stuff.
I mean,
and
look at Brand. Brand doesn't mind playing it, but it's the money, asking for the money.
Yeah.
It's the hard sell.
When you're asking $40 and just saying, look, it doesn't have a battle pass, but yet you have all these other offerings that are doing what you're doing, but they do it better. Your product isn't really unique. It's not really interesting. You're not offering any sort of really different or unique mechanics or anything, and these are free to play, and your gate of entry is $40.
Yeah.
Where do you think people are going to gravitate toward?
Like Cesar said, he could see it being in the rotation, but there wasn't enough to like pull us all into spending the $40 to add it to the rotation.
No.
If they did another beta, like I might hit it up for that weekend, but it just
They
didn't have it.
after that first beta didn't hit those numbers, man. They really should have pulled back and like, all right, let's
retweak this.
let's give it some air. Let's do a couple more betas and kind of like get some feedback. And
But 8 years, I can't imagine 8 years in development. That Firewalk studio.
8 years ago, it probably made sense.
It did.
it was around when Overwatch 1 came out, right? 8 years ago.
You're right. And these projects take so long and take so long to spin up and get balanced right and launched and battle pass mapped and roadmap and all that stuff that it's hard to pivot immediately.
Look at Apex. Apex was just a spin-off of Titanfall 3. And I mean, they didn't have a plan. They just kind of threw it out there, and it stumbled a little bit in the beginning, but they figured it out, right? So, I mean, that's like a popular-ass
We should
shooter,
play some Apex. I could spend my time playing nothing but free-to-play games, honestly, with y'all. With online stuff. Between Halo Infinites and all these other things. No issue. I think that's part of the problem it's running into. Who is going for those paid products? When people come buy a console, what are they getting it to play? Are they getting it to play a Concord? Is Concord a PS5 seller? It was not. It wasn't even a Concord seller. Was there any more news on this?
No, that's pretty much it.
Nope.
Games no longer available. There's no plans to see if it's ever going to return. Most likely, I don't think it's going to ever return. But it's not going to be. It won't be the Concord we know and love, apparently. So if it did come back, so
what do you guys think about the collectability of the physical copies that are being returned?
no, I don't. Really care.
The ones that are now, if you're already looking on eBay, I think they've already more than doubled in price. $40 game is going for at least 100.
So when small side to Games Acquired, when this news went up, I was like, you know what? Walmart says they have some. Let me just go ahead and grab one and see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what all this news ends up being. And then the next day, when they were supposed to be recalled from retailers, I got a delayed. It says delayed indefinitely on my Walmart account. I was like, well, there goes that. I tried. I gave it a shot. That night, a copy of Concord showed up on my doorstep. And I was like, okay, it came. And I never got a notification or anything, so I checked my shipping thing. It says, what I say? What was the term? Delivery. Yeah, delayed indefinitely. It still says it on there. I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess eventually they'll run it through, that sort of thing, and then I'll be charged for it or whatever. Then today, I got something else in, an Xbox game, and there was another package from Walmart, and I'm like, what did I get from Walmart? I'm expecting some bags, like some carry bag things, and so I bring it's got a disc-shaped thing in it, and I bring it in, and it is another copy of Concord they have sent me, and I'm like, this is the one. Somebody messed up, and this is the one. And so I go in the app, and I have no tracking information. I have no shipping information. I have delivery delayed indefinitely, and I have no charges yet for Concord, and I have 2 copies of Concord. And are they going to send me a copy every day until they decide that delivery is?
Sure.
I don't know what's happening.
I think you lucked out because it probably, you know how the system works. They panic when they try to recall something. And so I think it probably glitched out on their end. And, somebody's not reading it properly in the warehouse and just like, oh, this guy never got his thing, even though it's like cancel order, return, don't ship. And they just shipped it again, So
what does that mean?
I've seen, because I'm like Brant. There was one time I think Limited Run sent me 2 copies of the same game. I was like, I had to go back in there. I ordered 2 of them. It's like, they've done it to me before too. So I'm like,
but y'all look out on good games that you can actually play and share with friends. I get a coaster, 2 copies of coasters.
Hey, I forgot who said it. It might have been Matt Pescatella, where he posted on social media where he's like, I'm just gonna buy me a copy, get it rated, and throw it on the shelf.
Yep.
Oh, it's what Pescatella's gonna do. People are comparing it to like the collectability of Brink and stuff, but Brink never got recalled. Like there was a shit ton of copies and stuff floating around.
He said he's gonna put it right next to his seal copy of Atari ET.
Yeah. Oh, that was another good comment on Twitter. Somebody said, back in my day, a game didn't sell. We just buried it in the desert. We rounded up all the copies and put it beneath the sands.
Sands of time.
That too.
Speaking of the passage of time and the sands of time, PlayStation has a 30th anniversary this year.
PlayStation is a 30-year-old brand. That's mind-blowing to me.
Mm-hmm. So starting in October and running through January, they have some offerings to celebrate their 30th anniversary. These, which I'm going to discuss, are a little on the weak side, but they do say there is more to come. Let's go through these first. So their first things that they're going to do, they have a digital soundtrack available on Spotify. This is
exciting.
Soundtracks for the God of War 2, God of War Ghost of Sparta, Twisted Metal, Starhawk, Unit
Our
13.
Second Unit 13 reference of the night. Zipper Interactive, RIP.
Will be made available on streaming services. They also plan to launch a physical series of products called Shapes of Play, based on the shapes and usually themed around the colors of the Sony shapes.
This is an interesting little premise, right? It's a funny collectible thing, I guess.
Yeah. So the 3 items that they have here is Shapes of Play Battle, a board game where you can challenge friends to line up 4 different shapes of the same color on the board to win. We have Shapes of Play Create, magnetic blocks which you can build into various shapes, and Shapes of Recharge, which are some kind of stress ball-y looking things. And then they also have plans to release My First Gran Turismo, a free game trial aimed to getting players into the Gran Turismo series for the first time.
Sure.
Does that come with the VR thing? I would want to know, because Brant, that would be a great VR demo for your PSVR.
Does it come with the original Gran Turismo where I can listen to SDP?
Now that Jim Ryan's gone, possibly.
Nice. So it will release on PS4 and PS5 this holiday, and will include some of the favorite cars and tracks and race events that evoke nostalgia and excitement for the very first GT experience.
That's a good game. That's a good. I need to pop that back in and update it. Gran Turismo 7 is a fantastic video game.
There's also plans for free multiplayer weekends. That'll be September 21st and through the 22nd, and a series of PS5 esports tournaments, which go through various sports titles like NBA 2K, Madden NFL, MLB The Show, Tekken 8, and Guilty Gear.
Tekken 8. What is the Tekken 8 bit? Free
esports.
Esports stuff.
Oh, it's just an esport event. Okay, I would do a free to play weekend of Tekken 8.
But hopefully, I mean, they'll offer a little bit more. We've gotten themed consoles and stuff in the past, so hopefully they will do some of the PlayStation plates for the consoles. Maybe a controller. Maybe we'll get something special. Maybe more offerings in the classics category. The premium would be nice.
A great time to unveil a bunch of those to celebrate that.
Beyond the Beyond.
The if you look at that little graphic that
everybody
they have,
hates it, but I like it.
Where it's Sony 30th. In the background, there's a bunch of these grayed out designs. They're just gray silhouettes.
I see the PS3. I see the sharpshooter. I see the DualSense.
So they're various PlayStation brand, either consoles or accessories and things. And somebody did notice one that looks like the current PlayStation 5. It's the side profile with the one little slit through the console. And then as people kept going through, they noticed another one that is definitely the same size and style of the other PS5, but has five horizontal slices across it, and people are more speculating that's PS5 Pro that we're supposed to be getting soon.
Yeah.
So, and there's a rumored Sony State of Play, so who knows? Hopefully we'll be hearing something more than,
it's like the worst kept secret, right? That the PS5 Pro is going to be announced this month, right?
It's
the worst kept secret. It's coming. So it's the argument is whether or not it's going to be a showcase, which is supposed to be the future, or if it's just going to be a state of play, and then everybody's going back and forth. It's just going to be a state of play because they're going to announce this new hardware supposedly, and there's nothing coming out this fall to showcase it, right?
No.
So this is all for Grand Theft Auto 6 supposedly, which was supposed to come out spring of next year, but we got a whole other year till that comes out. So, but
is that the killer app? A third party? That's you say third party, but that's going to be a huge title.
As many copies as GTA 5 is sold to help push PS4 and Xbox One because of GTA Online and all that kind of stuff on there. I think that's what they're hedging their bets to bring on the next generation. But yeah, I guess the rumor is it's supposed to be announced next week, supposedly.
Really?
We'll see. Yes, that was the last rumor I heard. I think, but somebody who's usually pretty accurate. So
I love that they actually recognize the heritage and the history with these anniversary things
I don't know,
they
man.
do.
It's a mixed bag with them because I mean, I would love to get some PS1 classics remade or
Yeah, it's
make shit just drop Bushido Blade on there. I want to play some Bushido Blade. You know what I
with the
mean?
rewind button
Shit.
on Bushido Blade, it would be huge.
That's the only fucking way to beat it,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
But it's also the side stuff, like these soundtracks. These soundtracks are for games that are like 15 to 20-ish years old at this point. But like,
Yeah.
you would love to have the Skyward Sword soundtrack on Apple Music, right? But it's going to be Sony does that with their stuff. They seem to be kind of leading the way with the audio with that. Xbox, all the Halo soundtracks are on streaming services and stuff, but Nintendo's just,
I mean,
come on.
probably the closest one that Nintendo would have been Square Enix, but they've come around and put a lot of their stuff on there too. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because they got all the Final Fantasies on there. Because before
Finally.
they used to remember guard that stuff on
Yep.
there. They're like, no, we gotta be careful. They had their own record studio and everything. It's
Yep.
like, no, we release our own stuff.
Square Enix Publishing, they made their own action figures and their own
Yeah.
their own CDs.
It's smart. Control your IP, man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it costs money, so it makes stuff expensive. It's harder to sell. So, but we'll carry on from PlayStation 30th anniversary to what's coming to Game Pass. Brand's favorite segment of the week, our weekly, bi-weekly, our tri-weekly, our monthly segment.
We skipped
what the fuck is coming to Game Pass?
we skipped the agreement. So sorry, you've covered on this
Oh.
one before. You've covered the
I'll do this. I'll go through quickly.
I got you.
So we talked about in the past
Mhm.
that Xbox had some issues with their engines not being able to cover some of these games that have come out recently, the fighting games. I think Mega Man Battle Network.
And it's literally at a technical level, right? Like
thing.
it's not licensing, it's not any sort of platform agnostic thing.
I think they had an issue with some of their coding on their engine, and I think Xbox had officially left the Xbox One behind. And so they were no longer doing any support. So if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't.
Yeah.
So it was that type of situation. So Microsoft is always making headways on pissing people off and having to come back and
finding new avenues of angering the fan base.
Right. Angering your fighting game community was pretty tough because you have a lot of fighting games that like to play on Xbox.
Yeah.
So we had the fighting game, was it Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and then we had the Marvel vs. Capcom. We're going to skip Xbox, and then the rumors were going around that like, all right, Microsoft went up to Capcom, let's figure this out, let's figure out what's not working, let's get it to work on here. Which I was kind of hoping we would get modern day ports of this stuff. Maybe they will come up with a new engine that's compatible with what's out there now, but that didn't seem to be the case. So they've made a deal in 2025 that the Xbox fans are also going to get the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection as well as the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I know some other people in there have asked if that does that mean if the Mega Man Battle Network collection will come over, or one of the Ace Attorney games I think was not compatible as well because they used that engine. I think it was the new ones that we didn't get I forgot which one with his ancestor. Not a
Legends? Is it called Legends or something like that? I know the one you're talking about.
No.
Yeah, someone with his the great attorney or something like that. I forgot. What
Yeah.
it was.
Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
But-
Does that sound right?
I think so, something like that.
Maybe.
So I think they was using that engine too because it skipped Xbox. There's a couple of those ones that were using the engine that kind of just skipped Xbox. I think Capcom Monster Hunter Collection was one of them as well. So I'm like, I think a lot of people are hoping all that stuff will eventually come through. So that was announced. Made an announcement, I think, within this last week or so.
That's awesome.
So,
this is great news.
Yeah. I mean, it's hopefully Microsoft will not shoot themselves in the foot with stuff like this again. You know? You got to keep those doors open and keep those games in there.
And especially the way Capcom has been churning out remakes and collections and content and stuff like that. You do not want to miss out on that legacy stuff for your fan base.
I mean, your fighting game community is huge, so you want to make sure you have those games available for your fans on there. So, I mean, that's just going to make it frustrating for people who prefer to play on certain consoles, and they're like, oh, I got to go buy something else to play this game on there because they probably would have done it. So, all right, so back to Brand's subject of the week, which is Game Pass. From the Xbox Wire here from Megan Spur, who's so lovingly put this together as Megan does every week or so.
It is always Megan on this.
So available to. Yep. I know. I'm a maturing candidate because I look at it and instantly see the Xbox Wire Megan Spur. All right. Available today, which was September 3rd, 3 days ago, is a Star Trucker. I always think of Trucker and some other word in there, so I never see Star Trucker.
Star Trucker.
Hop into the driver's seat of the rocket powered big rig as you haul cargo across the galaxy.
Is this a sequel to Big Mother Truckers 1 and 2?
Yes.
Our American Wheeler
Sure.
18. Coming soon, which I think is available as of already. Most of these probably are going to be available. I'll just say they are. Age of Mythology Retold is available. It's a remake of it's just a remake of Age of Mythology.
This looked good though.
Which is
at one of those shows they showed it off.
It's available on Game Pass. I downloaded and played the tutorial. So, and it plays just like the original. It does look a little HD-fied. Looks like an Xbox version of this game, in my opinion, when you look at the character models. Then you also have Expeditions Mud Runner game, which came out yesterday. And that's embark on scientific expeditions with the new off-road adventures from the creators of Mud Runner and Snow Runner. It's what you always dreamed of.
Finally.
The next thing in mud running. Expeditions. Yes. So, and then we have...
yes.
Yeah.
Does it have co-op online?
It would automatically be better than Top Spinner.
Oh, wow.
Then we have our next game service that will disappear once they cancel the servers, which is Riders Republic. Jump on Riders Republic, massive multiplayer game playground from snowy mountains to Riddick canyons, roam free and huge open world comprised of iconic U.S. national parks. This is just your new version of 2 Extreme because Sony is a coward to bring out a new version of 2 Extreme.
I thought they gave us Riders Republic already. Is this a return to Game Pass potentially?
I don't think Game Pass labels those returns like they do on Sony, so I could be wrong, but I don't think they do. Next up is Train Sim World 5, which will pretty much comes on everything that's offered by Xbox. This one is take on new challenges and roles and master the tracks, trains of iconic cities across 3 new routes. Immerse yourself in the ultimate railroad hobby and embark on your next adventure. All right, so, and then after that, we just have some DLC game updates. So we have Valorant Episode 9, Act 2 is available. Dead by Daylight Castlevania Edition is available now, which they're very good about doing these crossovers with some very popular series. If you're a Dead by Daylight fan, do go ahead and purchase your Castlevania because that will disappear from the licensing fever that it will cause in a year. Ark Survival Ascended Aberration. Then you have Ark Survival Ascended Bob's Tall Tales Steampunk Ascent. What the fuck did I just read? I guess it's the second chapter of Bob's Tall Tales. So here we go. I always think of Paul Bunyan when I think of Tall Tales, but neither here or there. Xbox Game Pass perks. You got Predecessor Ready for Action Bundle. You have Metaball Police Pack, EA Sports NHL 2 and 24 Starter Pack, and then you have the Multiverse MVP Pack 2. Leaving Game Pass September 15th, so you have 9 more days to enjoy these games. You got Ashes of Singularity, Escalation for PC, FIFA 23. I mean, come on, we're already almost on 25. Let it go. Payday 3. Slime Rancher 2, which I'm assuming is coming off because it's on game preview, so I'm assuming the main release is coming out soon, probably, and then probably pop back on there after that. Spider Heck versus Spider Hell, and then You Suck at Parking.
What is You Suck at Parking? Is that one of those like kind of a chaotic, almost like Overcooked style type things?
It's like Overcooked with parking. Yeah, that's what the way it looks to me. I don't want to speak because I haven't played it. I want somebody to be like, well, actually. You dumb motherfucker.
You're wrong, sir.
You Suck at Parking actually changes the whole dynamic of Overcooked. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to piss you off. Sorry.
They're not even related.
Right. How dare you? You a scathing review on MySpace. So that is your...
Do we have a MySpace?
Xbox Wire. I don't know.
Should we have a MySpace?
Absolutely not, because I think it's moving when they came.
MySpace still a thing?
They did when they tried to sell music on there. They're like, oh, for music artists. You remember? I was like, oh, if you love music, come to MySpace.
That's been a long time.
That was the last thing they did with it. So, but that is your games with Game Pass. So go ahead and enjoy those while you have them
before they leave.
Because I don't think you're going to get any major releases for Game Pass from the Xbox side until what? Indiana Jones in December. Looking forward to that one.
Damn, that's a long ways off.
I mean, it was supposed to be avowed, but I guess they wanted to. I mean, technically, I take that back because they have Black Ops 6. So that's technically first party for them now too.
I mean,
So
yeah,
I guess it's probably why they took them out in November. I mean, because that's in November. That's probably gonna be your biggest game. It makes sense, right? I mean, you should sell Game Busters around that time for that.
Technically, there's no bigger game, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That is the
But that
biggest
is
game of the year
everything.
coming to Game Pass.
Absolutely.
Good times.
And that is all our news this week. Well done, everybody. We did it. As I try to skip over Xbox's Marvel vs. Capcom win. So
it's a big deal for consumers, I think. You have a lot of people playing fighting games on. It used to be skewed not towards Xbox, but with fight sticks and better controllers and things like that. It's yeah.
I mean, for a while, it was mostly, I would say it was mostly PC based because a lot of that stuff was running through emulators, and now they've gotten to the point where manufacturers have made, sticks for consoles, and a lot of these games are getting ported to consoles. So now I think you see more of it on console play now. So I still don't think I see that many people play it on Xbox, though. It seems to more be skewed towards PlayStation and PC, but you don't have the nightmare fuel of trying to lock something down to 30 frames per second like you do on like a fight game can do on a Nintendo Switch. Oof. So
hopefully those backwards compatible rumors that are growing in intensity are true. It was one of the Nates. I feel like every leaker is like Nate the Great, Nate the Hate. There's always a Nate something that has said that the backwards compatibility thing is confirmed. It's only you would think it's only the smart choice, but we've seen Nintendo do some wacky stuff before.
I don't. If they didn't do it, I don't see them coming back from it. So it would be a hard sell to let go of your library. So
I think you'd see an even slower adoption. Like the Xbox One and PS4 are still sticking around, right? Like people are still buying PS4s and playing them, and it's a relevant console still. And I don't remember a transitionary period between generations where you had this much holdover. I also don't remember having this few exclusives, and the one we just got for PlayStation was on sale for 2 weeks and then disappeared from store shelves. Not even 2 weeks.
And I guess you can quote what Brant would say. Was it though? Was it an exclusive? Was it even a game? Was it a game?
Was it just a beta?
Seemed like a.
Was it a game?
It was just a delivery to watch episode 0 and episode 1 of whatever story they were trying to tell.
There's something there. They've got something there, and I'm pulling for that Concord studio. I'm sure they're kind of listless right now and not sure what to do, but
I'm hoping they take that engine and just kind of try to figure it out and probably put something out there and don't go too deep into the weeds and let it grow, add and grow.
Do you think a license helps that? Like there were so many comparisons to Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you think there's some sort of license that can be applied to that to make that a compelling?
No, because I think at that point you have Marvel doing Marvel Rivals, right? I mean, you don't want them to like, all right, let's shoot ourselves in the foot and then have this license we gave out for somebody from Marvel Rivals to come up here and like, oh, let's do Guardians one. Because I'm sure they won't be happy. Like, we paid this money for Marvel Rivals, Marvel licensing, then you give this out to somebody else to do Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't see them doing that. So,
right. I guess let's get on to games played. We played some Warzone over the past week, including an epic finale win.
Oh shit! I never.
Brant's clip. That was our Rebirth Island win.
Yes, it was.
I need Cesar for top spin discussion. He just bailed on me, so. How did that one end? So we're trying to we're kind of coming out of the warehouses on that one side of the, well, it's a long Alcatraz-esque island. And
we had creeped through the water, and then we got up and started creeping in the warehouses.
Working our way through there, pretty unencumbered. Like there were people in the roof.
I got sniped, and then pretty quickly I watched you and Cesar take this house, and you're talking amongst each other, and I was dead, and I was watching your feed, and then all of a sudden I'm back. And we're on final circle.
Cesar bought you back, right? It wasn't like a jailbreak?
Yes. Yes, Cesar bought me back. And I'm flying into the final circle, and I can see the last two people as you both go down.
Yeah.
I'm the one's already down. I start shooting him, and then I start looking for his partner because I can tell he's not trying to get up.
And I had downed those two guys, so
Uh,
they're behind like a guardrail. They split up on that final circle. So I see both of those, and I had jumped out of a building, and I'm chasing them by this guardrail. I downed one. The other buddy goes to res him. I downed that guy instead of killing him, and then his partner, the one that you flew in on, he took me down. And then you popped in on the circle with a level 1 weapon, right? Like you just had basic shit.
Yep. And I start shooting him. I do the same thing we complain about. I drop on this. I drop to the ground on this guy, shoot him, and then I don't even reload. I just start meleeing, punching him in the face. He dies. I get up. I'm looking around. I'm like, wait, what? Is there anybody? And then it just says
we downed everybody else,
and
man. They were gone. Oh, so
great.
crazy. We have lost some crazy rounds to win one like that. That was wild. We had some good runs before that, but none of them were epic as that finale.
No.
And I think you're going to post that to our stuff, right? Because you got a clip off of that one.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a finish. Cesar, I guess we'll touch on Top Spin. We fired up a Top Spin stream. You can watch that 30-ish minutes of gameplay on Twitch.
If that
for as
much.
long as it's there. So it's, like we said, Top Spin is actually on sale right now. You can get it for like $25, but it dropped to. Go ahead.
I mean, like it's a pretty good deal right now. I mean, we were excited about doing what? Yeah, our bread and butter is co-op,
Yes.
right?
Love
Co-op,
doubles.
couch co-op preferably, doubles.
Right.
But I mean, it's easier for us to play online because it's hard for us to meet up. We got conflicting lives going on. You got stuff to do with your family. So whenever we actually have time to sit there and play it, it's online is always a go-to choice, right?
And it's easier to stream, even though we can get a camera, rig up, and do couch co-op stuff. But
yeah, unfortunately, we fired it up and it was not online couch co-op. It wasn't doubles. Let's put it that way. It's
no
not, it wasn't
online
doubles.
doubles
So
in the game.
So it was only player versus player. That's it. We finally looked it up. I think you looked it up and saw that. Like, yeah, it's something we might bring in later. It could be. There's no roadmap or anything like that because this game officially comes offline 2026, right? The online portion of it can be retired by then. Is what it says on there when you look at the pamphlet. So I don't have high hope for this to happen. We just hope that maybe they make a Top Spin 2K26 and hopefully they add it on there. That seems like that's probably going to be the move. I don't see them going back.
2K26 is a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what they have, like our immediate negativity is the lack of what should be an expected feature in an online game in 2024 is co-op multiplayer for a tennis game, right?
But then again, there's a lot of other tennis games out there. This is probably the first time we've seen a Top Spin in a long time. I guess this was like their cheap way of, I'm playing devil's advocate. There's just like their way of just getting some fillers out there. It's like, hey, can we make this popular again? Like, remember when they tried to do baseball again? You remember, like, oh, we'll do MLB 2K, even though Sony had locked down that avenue. So,
and EA hasn't made a baseball game in almost 20 years.
Yeah, I get it. So.
But they've made a good tennis game. It took us a minute to try to figure out the mechanics and the physics of it, but I think they've made a really good tennis game. I would love to play this couch co-op with 4 people.
As a simulation, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is not.
It doesn't scratch the arcade itch.
This is not Virtua Tennis.
Yeah.
We quickly discovered that, like Resident Evil, you cannot run and shoot at the same time. You cannot, if you're holding down a button trying to plan where that shot's going to go, your character just stops moving. You don't even go to the ball. We had a bunch of times where we're in the middle of a rally and like Cesar would hit it to me and I'm already trying to do a backspin or something and I don't move my character and she just stood there and the ball went right past her. So I think once we figured that out, there's a gauge. So as the ball's coming to you on your side of the court, there's a gauge that I believe based off the location, how far the ball is away from you, like where you need to get to, and what type of shot it is. You have a very small window in that gauge to move your character there and also get a good return shot. Because you may, like, there's a good baseline shot that's across the box from you. You may get to it, but then your character they didn't line up that gauge enough, and you just like swing the racket and it just goes off into spit, like it just pops straight up.
It becomes more cumbersome for me because I tend to watch the gauge more than actually my character. So I'm like, I know to move left and know to move right, but I'm always watching the gauge because that's what it just basically trains you to do, right?
Pretty much,
I mean, I guess, which is fine. I guess, I mean, you know, there's no way you can sit there and visually absorb everything from that game if that was the case, unless you're just on a tiny ass screen. You know, I mean, that the bigger screen, the worse it's going to be.
That's where doubles would have been fun for us because we would have managed each side of the court amongst ourselves and and rushed the net and defended the baseline, and we would have been able to figure out those buttons against a CPU or whatever.
But we have an opportunity coming up soon to possibly play some couch co-op in that, so we might do a follow-up to it later, talk about it.
We'll give it a go. If you're out there wanting a good tennis game, this is one. If you're wanting a tennis game that lets you play online doubles, this is not one. I also touched on new release Astrobots. There's like what are we going to call our quick look type things? We can't take the quick look moniker. At the end of the thing, I said snack size is like a snack sample of some Astrobot gameplay, but I've got like an hour of the opening of Astrobot on our Twitch channel. If you're interested in seeing what that game's all about, I won't speak on it much. I think we're going to save that till next week, but if you have a PS5, I think you need to own this game in some capacity. If you liked that pack-in that came with your PS5, this is just another layer of polish and fun on top of that.
Yeah, well, I know we'll talk about it next week, but I'm almost halfway through the game.
Damn, it's plowing through.
I've had way more time to play than you gentlemen had today, so I put at least 6 hours into it.
It is really good though, and I'm assuming it maintains that pace. I'm an hour in. I'm assuming it's still solid, huh, Cesar?
Yeah, there's some gameplay mechanics on there that's very Mario inspired. That is very innovative. There's one where you wear a mouse on your back, and you can shrink your size, and it revamps the whole environment as you interact with it. So you have this large world that you run around, and you can do some platforming, and then you can shrink into like a flower plant, and it creates a whole nother small world in there. Stuff that you normally would only see in a Super Mario Brothers type game, and they've done pretty well on there.
Minish Cap did that really well
impressive.
Too, with the scale and changing around the viewpoints of the character. Yeah,
and that's just a little bit of it. So
that's
I mean,
awesome.
the only boss I think I've beaten was a Galaxy Kong. That's it. So
that's the world I'm in. They start you off in Galaxy Kong. Have you found any of the Star Road things? There's like a Star Road element in there where you can find these like portals to a lost galaxy.
I've done the warps, and it takes you to like a Star Road, like you said. And there's another one where you find the shapes in the triangle worlds, which are way more difficult, and you unlocked even more specialized characters from your favorite series that happen to coincide with PlayStation on there. I think the two unlocked was Leon from Resident Evil 2 and Teddy from Persona 4. So.
I love finding those characters sprinkled around. Like it was all Metal Gear level that I played and got Gray Fox and Solid Snake was in there and Psycho Mantis, yeah. I do wish we really need to talk about this game next week, but I do wish they would explain some of these characters. Like we know who they are, right? The three of us know who they are when we find them. But I think I found the lady from Returnal, but it would be nice if I knew that that's what that game was from.
So, well, yeah, like I said, we'll talk more about it when Brand gets his hands on it, because I mean, Brand is the Resident Evil Returnal expert, so he can tell you. So,
Brand, you're in for a treat, man. It's such a fucking good game. That is a good ass game.
I think deep down, Brand was never going to be disappointed by Astro.
Oh no, that was a pretty safe bet, but it's rest assured, everyone. But that's it for me. Those are my games played this week.
I want to play Warzone, so I'm going to be quick. I'm not trying to fight it along like other people.
I got one thing I'm trying to do.
I'm trying to get to it, man. If I already talked about Astro, I already talked about Warzone. The only thing I've been really doing has been tinkering with that new device I have on here, that ROG.
Yeah, what else have you thrown at it? I want to know.
I've done Helldivers on there. I can increase the video RAM on there, so I think you already have 8 gigabytes dedicated towards it, and I didn't realize I can increase up to 24 if I want to put on there. So put Helldivers in there, which I learned the hard way that there's no cross progression in that game, so I had to start over from scratch, which sucks.
Cross progression is not in Helldivers?
It's
Interesting.
not. But it runs at about 50 frames per second, and it runs pretty well. I did play some Visions of Mana. I did buy the Steam copy, and I've been playing on my PC here, and I tinkered with my PC enough that now I have it running 200 frames per second. My PC is fucking ridiculous.
Ooh.
But I'll talk. I've only played an hour of it. I'll talk more about it next week when I play some more time in there, because I spent more time tinkering with the graphics than I did with anything else.
How does it start? Because I talked last week about the demo that I was playing, and I didn't really enjoy that slice of gameplay. I picked the demo back up and played a little bit more, and it wasn't as jarring. Like I want to be in the story. I want to be invested in the characters.
So the story, it hits off for me because I do like romance and RPGs, and this is a big romance and RPG thing. So you have to start off with a character in the Dwarven village who is running away with a girl who has been chosen to be an Alm, which is basically a soul sacrifice for the Tree of Mana, and he doesn't want to lose her.
Oh.
And so the village is trying to round her up and force her to do it. And then she turns to stone at the very end of it as they trying to run away. And then you go to Fire Village, where the main hero of the story is trying to be a soul seeker or something like that. It's a protector of those people who are going to be a sacrifice to the Tree of Mana. And his childhood friend that he's in love with got chosen to be the representative for the city, for that village, to sacrifice herself to be the savior for the Alm for fire.
Not good.
And so now he's going to escort her to the Tree of Mana, and that's how it starts. So
Gotcha.
He seems okay with it, but because they see it as a high,
like an honor type thing, yeah.
To lose your life to the tree, but it's a lot of that type of character arcs in there where you have a lot of these intersecting people that have different views, and have different values on their lives. So and that's how it starts out. So
sounds good.
So now he's going on that journey with her to escort her to the tree, the Mana Tree, to give up her life.
With the potential twist of trying to save her.
Possibly, because apparently if you don't do it, then the village is destroyed. That's what happened with the Dwarven one. So she didn't get there. She turned to stone, and that Dwarven village was destroyed. But you come to find out that she was a girl from that original village where the current setting is.
Oh.
She had left. She left over there for about 3 years ago. Prior, they haven't heard from her since. So they don't know what happened to her yet.
It's already a twist.
So there's a lot of intersecting storylines in there. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I thought the Mana Tree was more benevolent than like destroying villages. The Mana Tree's a motherfucker.
The spirits to go through, and they have to find a representative to give up their soul to renew the life of the village, and they have to go to the Mana Tree and give it up. Ugh. So they call him Alm. Yeah.
The Mana Tree's a real star-trucker.
So he's a soul. I think they call him like a soul seeker or something like that. He's a protector of the people going to make the pilgrimage. And so I think the story seems to go to the bout that he meets other people that are going to go make that pilgrimage. He's going to escort them all to that tree to die. So that's what it looks like it's going to happen. So that's my guess.
Like a good
but yeah, that's it for me.
RPG story.
Yeah, I mean, it would be similar story-wise to Final Fantasy X or Tales of Symphonia, where you give up your soul for something, and then things change along the way. But we'll see. But I'll give it up to Brad to finish up here, so we can actually do something with our lives here.
They're just killing the recording. He's like, let's just get the horse over.
So let me go off of some games played, or not games played, but I will. But first, items acquired.
Another copy of Days Gone.
I say items because I've gotten several games, but also I got this, which is the Japanese. What is it? A guide to Japanese role-playing games.
I saw
this is
that on
basically
sale.
kind of like a history kind of thing with goes over all sorts of genres, strategy RPGs, regular Japanese RPGs. There's full parts in here dedicated to just like the Fire Emblem series, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, reviews, just little blurbs about the games,
Is that a Bitmap
a history
Books publication. I think that's the one I was looking at.
Yes.
Okay. Are you impressed with it? You like it?
Yes, it is. It is very in depth, and beautiful. And it's got, I just thumbing through it, looking at everything. Even has, of course, Cesar's Crusader of Senti in here.
Dedicated Crusader Senti book.
Hey man, it was forever an affordable play that game. Now it's super affordable.
But yes, I would recommend it. If you're a gamer and you love RPGs, JRPGs, anything like that, it's a interesting little book to thumb through and read a little bit of it. It'd be a perfect little coffee table book or conversation piece.
Are you a gamer?
As far as games, I'm still in the process of random bullshit here. So first thing, I rebought. I've got a couple of some 360 games here. I have.
Oh, are we back
Call
on the
of Duty
360
Modern
train?
Warfare. Oh yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
And those
3.
servers are still up for that game, right?
I believe so. I believe all the servers are up for all of those. I got Fable 2.
Classic.
Then I have some Switch games here. Unicorn Overlord, which is the strategy RPG that took, what was it, like 8 years, 10 years to make or something like that? 10 years, something
Under the
like
show Joel's playing
it's
that
the
one,
Atlas. Yeah. This is the Atlas game. It's supposed to be really, really good. But it is not a light investment. It is, one of those that you invest several of your hours in life dedicating to that game.
Yeah, that's gonna take some time.
Another one which I actually is in my games played, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Ooh.
For the Nintendo Switch.
Have you played that yet, or is this a first go?
This is my first go.
Ooh.
And it is actually pretty interesting. This is the one where you basically, it doesn't really explain it, but you're from a different time. In the, I guess you're either present day or sometime in the future, or whatever it is.
You get isekai another time,
and you get isekai'd. You get taken to the past.
I know that term.
And you drop through a space-time portal with your phone. Your phone transforms, and you're now tasked with the process of catching and help this team research Pokemon and build like the first Pokedex and all this stuff. And so far, it's pretty interesting. I'm just still kind of going through like the tutorial process because it's a little bit different than your typical Pokemon game. It still has like all the battling mechanics and everything, but
it's like a Breath of the Wild light. It's not as intense as that, but it's open world.
It really is. It's like an open world, almost Breath of the Wild-esque adventure, as SSR said.
I got about halfway through and then I fell off of it, so I hope you beat it.
You put a lot of time into it. I remember when you were playing it, Cesar.
Mm-hmm.
And last, certainly not least, I bought this because I was surprised I didn't have it. I spent a few hours just playing it just for the hell of it, because why not? Tekken 3 on
3
the
is
PS1,
awesome.
baby.
Tekken 3 is awesome.
Damn kick-ass game. Other than that, games played. Warzone with y'all. I played. I was looking for something kind of mindless, somewhat nostalgic, and I picked Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2, I think it was, for the 360, a game that I owned back in the day.
For some reason, I thought those were PS3 exclusives. They came out for 360 also?
No.
Okay.
No, they came out for 360 as well. It's got, several Gundams across the Gundam universe that you can choose from, and several different play modes and things like that. And it's the same Musou style gameplay, just with Gundams.
My favorite Beatles song, Across the Gundam Universe.
And then the other thing was I did buy this. I started playing it, and I don't know what it is. If it's just my current mood, or if it's something with the story or the combat. I just can't. I'm not getting into it, so I'm putting it aside. But that is Stellar Blade. I
is
know I
not
talked about it.
clicking. Okay.
I talked about it last week, and I started it, and I got back into it, and I played, I don't know, maybe a little over an hour, and I don't know, something about it. It's just not hitting.
Not vibing.
And I have no idea why.
And nothing stands out as like,
But-
man, I hate blank about this. I don't like the movement. The music sucks. The controls are horrible. The camera
music's
sucks.
good, man.
Yeah, the music's actually pretty
hits
good.
for me. It hits for me very well. Yeah.
Is that soundtrack out somewhere?
But
To y'all's knowledge?
I'm sure you can find it.
Mm-hmm. Imagine.
Stellar Blade.
Trying to think if there was anything else, but I think that was it. I know I tried a demo for what was that, Scarlet Deer Inn?
Yes, you sent me that on Steam like 6 months ago.
I sent you that on Steam. It is a game that actually looked pretty interesting. And all of the characters, all of the artwork is based on like hand stitched character models and everything. Very intricate, very unique looking game. But the demo that I started playing, it's got to be very early on, because you're walking here, you're talking to this person, you're walking here, you're just talking to this person, and I got to this point where I reached this old lady, and she's one of those characters in games that's like, oh well, yeah, could I have you just do this for me? And oh yeah, while you're here, can you just do this for me? And it got very mundane, and I got there's no like background music or anything at this time. I don't know if they're going to implement anything like this, but it was like the same kind of background. Like every now and then you hear like a bird chirping or something, and it was it was just kind of grating. I'm like, okay, no, I need to put this down, because this is not the experience I want right now.
You're not there yet. Let's keep cooking on this one and come back to it later.
And they do it does say that, you know, this game is still a work in progress. They're, you know, so.
But the move, like
I'm
the
sure
clips I've seen, the movement looks great. Like it.
Oh yeah, I mean, actually, the game is as far as the visuals, the movement, and everything else, it's actually very, very clean. And it was very smooth. It was one of those things that, because I played it on Steam Deck, downloaded it. It doesn't say that it's playable or anything. And after my last encounter, I was like, well, we'll see. But I booted up. It tells you that the game is meant to be played with a controller. It has no problem picking up the Steam Deck
that pad config
controller, and you're just in, and it just works. There was no problems at all. So. But I think that's it. Mostly Pokemon Arceus, Legends Arceus, and a good bit of Tekken 3.
Tekken 3 still holds up, doesn't it?
Tekken 3 it's such a kick-ass
How are you
game.
playing it? Are you playing it on the CRT?
Yes. I still had the PS2 hooked up behind me, so that it just dropped right into PS2 and just went to town.
Looks beautiful in there, doesn't it?
It looks so
Toshiba's
good.
Awesome. Some old school fighting. We were talking. Somebody, I think I was in the Evercade threads, and we know the Tomb Raider collection is out, and the Legacy of Kain collection's coming out. It's like Blood Omen and Soul Reaver are coming to Evercade, and they were asking. Somebody was talking to a developer about what they wanted, and they mentioned like a Tekken collection for that device, like those first three, those early PlayStation. Well, the first one was an early PlayStation game, but that Tekken collection. And then somebody was like, well, anything Tekken, basically. But then someone later on down in the thread, as I'm like scrolling through the comments, they were talking about a Namco fighting collection similar to all these Capcom ones we keep getting. And I was just thinking about Tekken and Soul Calibur and Soul Blade and just the legacy of stuff they can pull from Namco wise. I mean, with interesting offshoots, like wasn't there a Tekken for the Game Boy Advance? Like they called it Tekken. Was it Tekken? I think it was Tekken Advance. But just like these interesting things that are just kind of lost not lost in time, but like stuck on platforms that aren't modern or aren't accessible, or those games are super expensive. But Namco collection of any type would be really neat, and hopefully, I mean, we're voting with our wallets, right? With all these Capcom collections. I've gotten all the Street Fighters. I got the Darksiders collection, basically. Darksiders collection. Darkstalkers collection. I think I also have the Darksiders. I've supported the Darksiders. Is that it for us, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.